Mr. Chair.
You know, she may have just become my new best friend.
I know.
And I thought Mr. Baker was going to be. I mean, all right. And thank you for everyone on the panel. I know we're running late. I appreciate. So I'm going to do, instead of my whole series of questions, let's just go to the punchline. How do I stop my brothers and sisters from being exploited? How do we stop money going out to finance functionally what is slavery in some of these overseas scam farms? If any of you dug in and read some of the international stories of the recent border skirmishes and those things between Thailand and Myanmar, and some of these scam farms that the Thailand military actually invaded and took over. It was horrific. We're financing that. You know, you would think there would be a level of moral outrage, let alone, you know, our families being taken care of, but we're also the money being used to destroy and exploit individuals. So, Mr. Baker, I'm going to start with you. Look, you were kind enough to sort of approach my Mark bill, which was just trying to say it's already in the U.S. Constitution. Apparently, we've had presidents use it before. I have an entire book on Thomas Jefferson's use of the Mark provisions in the U.S. Constitution to allow privateers to go stop those who were raiding our ships and raiding our cargo. And yes, you're right. We probably need to have a definition of what the privateers, we call them white hat hackers in the real world, are able to take, but then the rest of the money goes back to the exploited party.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying. If you pass that bill, it would authorize the government to do this, and you could see how it worked. And the government's, the Justice Department is not enthusiastic about this, so they're going to be cautious about using the authority. But I see very little downside to trying it under some careful constraints. The other thing I would think about is I've been listening to this, and I listened to the success that the Chinese had in making sure that these scammers who had been scamming mostly Chinese people shifted their attention to the United States.
In Europe.
Yes, and the way they did that is the way they essentially engaged in covert action against these scam centers. They paid people, they armed people to go in and knock them over. Well, it's not like this is unknown to the United States either. And we should ask the question, are we prepared to actually encourage Burmese military, paramilitaries, or the Thai military, with which we have a pretty good relationship, to be more aggressive and to take along U.S. advisors to see if we can't take down these centers and seize the evidence and use it against them. It'll drive the Chinese crazy because this is their backyard, but that's probably a reason to do it, not to withhold ourselves.
Actually, it might be one of the few occasions in life where we could actually partner with some of the regional powers to stop this.
Okay.
Anyone on the panel here, and I know Ms. Griffin actually had some ideas around this, technology, so if I came to you right now and said, okay, do we have technology to stop this? Do we have to provide some tort protection for the provider of the technology if there's the 1 in 1,000 where someone had a legitimate transaction and it got stalled because of the protections? Is there a know your customer a mechanism that could ever be adopted, saying in the purchasing at the crypto machine, instead of, because my bank has to have some of these levels? If I came to any of you and said, give me the technology, give me the policy sets, give me the legal framework that the money never leaves the account, because the pay and chase model drives me insane, what would we do?
Congressman, I have 70 pages of recommendations for you.
I am surprised. Okay, we all knew that was coming. I just said.
But essentially, I wish that there was a single silver bullet to give to you. Unfortunately, what has happened is that these criminals are exploiting multiple holes in our systems, and we have to go fix them all. I think the technology exists in many places to solve this, but we need to empower the private sector to use it and scale it and to work effectively with government to do that so that it is harder for criminals to impersonate someone else, to open a social media account, to get the SIM card, to send the message, and to ask for the funds to be received. At every step in that process, there is technology to be deployed. And there, in many of those cases, is a way that we need to use policy to make it easier or to empower the private sector to do that at scale.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I would offer, I'm sorry, Ms. Stokes, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to remark that we've allowed this to happen over the last quarter century or more by being complacent, by assuming that only people who aren't smart were getting scammed, older people because they had cognitive decline. We're not going to solve this with one big solution. We have to have many, and I think a lot of them that we've talked about today and that we heard on the prior panel can get us there, but we have to do a lot of work to catch up because of how long we've just let this go.
Look, we have a family saying, and it's always dangerous when someone starts saying we have a family saying, for every complex problem, there's a simple solution. That's absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
And the concept is complexity requires complex solutions, and that's how you fix things.
Yes, sir.
You had one.
Yes, so I mean, I will go back to my bread and butter, which is a strategic approach. All these things that we've talked about, you've talked about, Senator has talked about, Representative Sparks has talked about, and other dais members talked about, you have to have an organizing principle. You have to figure out what it is that you're countering, assess its risks, figure out, quantify those risks, figure out what is being done, is it effective, where the gaps are, I believe as Ms. Griffin mentioned, and figure out the solutions. Technology is part of it, organizational restructuring, regulatory reform, statutory reform, all those are part of the solution. But it's going to take time, which we don't really have because, as Ms. Stokes mentioned, we've neglected this for a long time, and it's built up a head of steam that is being fully enabled by AI. You know, these bad guys out there are operating, as I said, at the speed of light, and we are pretty much crawling.
And you just gave me my closing remarks that is my habit. Back in January, I think it was December or January, we sat down with a couple freakishly smart folks that were really from the AI world. And their opinion was the scam farms are old school, that there will be such good technology here this year, and you'll be able to buy it on the dark web, that you can just set up a proxy server that is your scam farm, the natural language, the ability to crawl through social media to make phone calls. It will be nothing, and you basically, it's a hard drive with a really great internet connection, is now the scam industry. That terrifies me. And it will be scams that I don't think any of us were prepared for. We had the gentleman who had built a specialty of when there was denial of accesses or a pipeline that had been locked out of its computers, and had built a way to crack those codes. Very soon, that will become almost impossible. You know, where technology is leading us. We're going to have to find and come to a bipartisan agreement where in some ways we make everything possible, because today's solution will be wrong tomorrow, but there'll be something else that places it. Can you create enough optionality so we're defending our citizens? And it enrages me we don't even see this as a multinational, because our citizens aren't the only ones in the world being exploited. I appreciate this hearing. The Mark bill was the first step in trying to help socialize, if I can use that word, the concept that it's in our Constitution, having a private sector solution, because these are the people you hire if you're a company and want to find out if you can be exploited. Why wouldn't we use that same technology and talent to protect our citizens? And with that, I need to warn you, you may, over the next week or two, get letters from us asking questions. The responses to those questions will become part of the permanent testimony. If you also have any last documents you'd like to send either the Democrat or Republican teams here, we would like to have those things, and we will also add those to the permanent record of this hearing. Thank you for being here. Hearing is closed.
Thank you.